Hey, what's going on? This is Asa, and welcome back to another session. As I always say, I want you to begin to think differently about money. Today, we're going to be talking about information from a website that you can all Google and take a look at. This website has awesome information about all the cities across the country and their current financial situation. And now, the website is called Truth in Accounting. And this website estimates that 53 of the largest cities across the United States are not generating enough revenue to pay bills at the end of the fiscal year in 2022. Well, it's 2 years later. Do you think they have corrected it? Another question: how do cities fix their deficits typically? How do they increase the revenue that the city has in order to pay all its bills? Anyone? Anyone? They raise taxes. So, are you ready to be in a different tax situation as you hit your retirement ages, as you hit your next pay increase? So, a lot of times, that's another conversation. So, this is what I also want to share with you. The city of Houston has current fiscal financial challenges. Here's the title of an article that came out on May 27th. Waste of the day. New Houston mayor declares city broke. How does that happen, right? So what you see right here on your screen, here's the old mayor. This is the new mayor. Here's the old mayor. The old mayor said that when he was going out of office, he was leaving the city in a sound financial or fiscal surplus of $420 million. This is what he said before he left office in December, not long ago. Well, after the old mayor went out and the new mayor came in, he had the books audited. And what he found out was that the city is in a deficit of $160 million. Yes, you heard that. A deficit of $160 million. What does that mean? There is no surplus of 430 million. We're actually in the hole $160 million. As you go into more, let's look at this video real quick. All right.
Greater Houston partnership and includes a warning that our municipal government is actually operating in the red. Fox 26 political reporter Greg Grugan joining us now live with a breakdown. Greg.
Rashi, Caroline, sobering is an understatement. This report from Houston's business community comes less than a month after Mayor Sylvester Turner claimed he was leaving the city on solid financial footing. But the partnership assessment labels the $400 million surplus reported by Turner as budgetary sleight of hand. That's because the city had
budgetary sleight of hand. Is that a sophisticated way to say a lie? Listen to some more of this.
huge liabilities, including an estimated $3 billion in deferred maintenance on roads, at least $500 million owed firefighters in back pay, and obligations totaling $3 billion more related to water infrastructure.
He said $500 million related to back pay. Is that a problem? I would say it is. $500 million in back pay. Let's listen a little more. Now, this is just one of the cities.
The partnership says with one-time federal COVID relief funds soon to be exhausted, the city has very few options to balance its, quote, structurally unbalanced budget. Urban Reform founder and Fox 26 contributor Charles Blaine closely monitors the budgetary process.
So it has very few options. Listen to the options that it has.
Structural deficits and all of the liabilities that are outstanding. We're in for a rude awakening in the next 2 years, and not just the taxpayers, but the next administration, the next council. Everybody's going to be feeling it.
With city tax hikes strictly limited by caps imposed by both the local residents and the state legislature, the partnership suggested the new mayor and council consider assessing new fees, consolidating
assessing new fees and consolidating departments. So what that sounds like is new fees, right? So things are going to be more expensive in the city, and they're going to have to consolidate departments and divisions. So what that means is two people are now going to go down to one person, and one person is going to be doing the work of many because they need to carve out additional revenue within the current budget. That's a problem. And again, these things are what's going on across the country. According to the website that I mentioned earlier, Truth in Accounting. If you Google it, you can learn more about that site and learn more about your specific city. But this is what is happening across the country. Let me share something else with you. And this is also from Truth in Accounting, where they are going to break down the top sunshine and sinkhole cities. What does that mean? Well, these are the top sunshine cities that have a surplus per citizen. Okay. So just a Truth in Accounting ranks each city based on its taxpayers' burden or taxpayers' surplus. All right. Now, this is going on surplus per taxpayer in that city. And these are the top sunshine cities. All right. You see these here? And these sunshine cities are Washington, D.C., Irvine, California, Plano, Texas, Lincoln, Nebraska, and Omaha City, Omaha. So these are the cities that have a surplus, meaning they're running in the black. They are actually doing great with their budget, and they have a little extra in the coffers for a rainy day. All right. So those are your top sunshine cities. Now we're going to look at the bottom 5 sinkhole cities. And the website goes on to share many other, other information. 75 cities ranks that are in the negative, or what they would call bottom sinkhole cities. Portland, Oregon, Philadelphia, Honolulu, Chicago, and New York City. Now, they're in the negative $20,000 to $61,000 per taxpayer in that city. Again, I just want you to begin to think differently about money and begin having a different conversation with your peers, with your family members, with your friends, because the more you talk about it, the more you're aware of it, the more you can begin to make changes of what's going on. My favorite book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, talks about the story of his rich dad, who was his best friend's dad, who was a high school dropout, and his poor dad, which was his own dad, who had a PhD in education and worked for the government. And the difference is that the rich dad's family and friends constantly had a conversation about money. And when you talk more about money, when it is at the forefront of your conversation and your vision, then you're going to be thinking about how you can grow it instead of hiding and shrinking away from it. All right. So one other thing I want to share with you guys is a couple of weeks ago, I shared information from Yahoo Finance. All right. And with Yahoo Finance, it broke down the income brackets of citizens across the country in different cities. All right. And I want to share this with you because it's important for you to look at this. All right. So Delaware, the median income for these age brackets, age 15 to 24, 25 to 44, 45 to 64, and 65 and over. Now look at what happens when you hit 65 right there. Your income drops. Why does it drop? Because you're retired. Now, the biggest hoax that has been pulled over the people is, oh, when you retire, you won't need as much income. You won't be driving around, going back and forth to work. You won't have lunch at work. You will have much less expenses when you hit your retirement years. So it's okay. This is what the lie we've been told. I want to show you why it is detrimental to your health and to your life. So in Delaware, and these go on all different states across the union. All right. So Florida, Delaware, Connecticut, it goes to all the states. In Delaware, the median income from age 45 to 65 is $98,000. Okay. $98,000. Look at that. But when you hit retirement, it dips. What does it do? Yeah, it dips to $62,000. Okay, so those that are slower, 72, 82, 92. That's $30,000 plus a little more. So, what happens when you hit 65 years old is you retire 65, 67, 70, whatever your retirement age is. When you hit that age, your income is going to drop. This is what they're talking about. Oh, you won't need that much money because you're retired. Does Visa, American Express, Discover, MasterCard, do they care that you are now retired and that your income has been cut by $30,000? There are other cities where the income drops by up to $50,000. This is the retirement tragedy that many people are facing. How many of you know people who have retired and gone back to work? And they try to tell you that, oh, I just want to get out. I like to stay busy. Well, if you are truly retired in wealth and comfort, you can get out and you can stay busy doing many other things besides working another 9 to 5, 8 to 4, part-time, full-time job. This is why I created something called a new way to retire. A new way to retire is designed for you to retire in wealth and comfort. There's a webinar that I'm going to be having June 4th at 11 a.m. I'm going to put the link in the comments here so that you can go to register for this event, a new way to retire. Why is it important that you attend this webinar? Because it's just going to give you a lot of information that is different than what you've been told. The old way, the current way of retirement is broken. It's broken. How do we know it's broken? Look at the numbers. I just showed you the numbers from Yahoo Finance. When you retire, your income is going to drop $30,000 to $50,000 because the typical American doesn't have a way to retire. So with the webinar, A New Way to Retire, is going to show you exactly what the title says, a new way to retire. And it's not going to require you to get a side hustle, an extra job, work extra hours, pinch pennies and budget, because it takes all of the pieces, your 401k, your IRA, your 457 plan, your stocks, your mutual funds, all those things are fragmented pieces. And what it does is it takes all of the pieces of the puzzle and puts them together for you. Now you don't have to guess. Now you don't have to worry and wonder, am I set up properly for retirement? With the webinar, it's going to show you everything you need because it is a new day and a new way of getting to retiring in wealth and comfort. All right, I just want to share that with you. Go ahead and click and register. It's better if you register and you view it with friends and family members because it will allow you to begin to have a different conversation, a new conversation that is really full of substance, that is really focused on getting you to the place that you want to be, which is financially sound, which will give you peace of mind. Talk to you soon.